I feel like anytime Oda wants to drop something on us or reveal something big, he's like, let me think about what I'm going to do. And he's like, Eureka, I'm going to drop this D on him. And he's like, yeah, I'll lay it on him. Which is kind of crazy. One Piece chapter 1120 is here. We got 19 chapters of greatness, and it starts off with Vegapunk, and we see a flashback of him and Professor Clover in Punk Hazard, where they talk about how Clover is trying to recruit Vegapunk for his research in order to allow him to study the Void Century, since Vegapunk has access to so many different things. He is so knowledgeable, and that Vegapunk is one of, if not the greatest mind in all of science. Around this time, Vegapunk, he officially joined the royal government, so he says that he cannot afford to leak his findings, and we know that with Clover on the different adventures that he went on, he's been caught a couple of times by the world government. And I love this line from Vegapunk. He's like, well, open your eyes, like, you've been caught so many times. How long are you going to think that they're going to let you just roam around scot-free, since Clover is someone that is pretty dangerous? But this is where we get a big reveal. Clover, he talks about he once knew someone that carried D in his name, and this was his big brother. And I find it interesting because I feel like anytime Oda wants to drop something on us or reveal something big, he's like, let me think about what I'm going to do. And he's like, Eureka, I'm going to drop this D on him. And he's like, yeah, I'll lay it on him. Which is kind of crazy, because the last time something like this happened, I mean, what was it? The Nefertari family, and then we saw Trafalgar Deepwater Law. There are so many individuals that have D in their name, and I think a lot of people, and similar to Conqueror's Haki, some people are like, well, if all these people have it, then is it really that special? You have to look at the totality of the One Piece verse. I mean, there's been, what, over 1,000 characters that Oda has introduced to the series, and only, what, like 20 something of them have D in their name. And if you look at it with the entire One Piece world, obviously the One Piece verse is bigger than Earth, but we're going to use Earth's population in order to do this calculation. If you look at it, if you have 20 people with the letter D in their name to 8 billion people, doing the quick maths on it, it's like it's not a lot of people that have D in their name. But I think that this is really cool with Clover, why he's trying to research the Void Century, because in the past he gave up on his brother, saying that they were only friends, and he wasn't claiming his own name because he didn't want to be killed like his brother. I think that's pretty interesting, because he's like, hey, why should somebody have to die just because they have the wrong name? And I think this gives us a little bit more clarity on his character for why, and the resolve for why he wanted to research the Void Century so badly. And I think this is pretty cool because we see other scholars. I don't think everybody just wants to learn the truth about the world. I don't think I'm right, at least for me, I'm not righteous enough to want to risk my life in order to do that, and I don't really see others as well. Like, for example, Robin, the reason why she became an archaeologist and the reason why she's able to read the Poneglyphs is because she wanted to have a closer relationship to her mother. So seeing Clover have this resolve, and this is the true reason why he's searching for the Void Century, learning about the Poneglyphs, the truth, I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, Clover, we know the story of O'Hara. He ends up dying. I love seeing Caesar here as well. He cracks a little remark about the scholars of O'Hara, specifically talking about Clover, how he ends up dying. Just seeing Vegapunk talk about, was your death or researching this worth your life, which is, I don't know if this is what inspired Vegapunk to really go after his research, because even Vegapunk, like, we've seen that he chose his research over his life. So I think that it's pretty cool, maybe that Clover was the reason why Vegapunk was influenced in this way, of why he was willing to, you know, sacrifice himself to the world government to essentially be their slave, do their bidding in order to achieve his dream. So we are wondering what was going on with Zoro's group, why they couldn't blast off, and this is because that the wind, it's affecting their trajectory, because it'll push them back, and if they're off by a little bit, then they won't make it in the ocean and they'll die. So the different things that Edison was able to do, it would be all for nothing. So they're trying to figure out how they're going to be able to blast off effectively and make it into the ocean. And this is where Atlas comes in, and she knocks the dog snot out of Lilith and knocks her unconscious. But if you guys have enjoyed this video so far, let me know by leaving a like, subscribing to the channel, and hitting the notification bell so you guys get notified whenever I upload a new video. I upload so many videos all the time. She doesn't give a reason. She says, hey, I'm leaving Lilith in your hands, and charges after Nusjuro, where so many individuals, like specifically Chopper and Usopp, they're questioning what's happening. And I love Zoro and Jinbei here. They're taking lead, taking command, because they're like, hey, we'd regret what's happening if we hesitated based off of her sacrifice, because if they're sitting around questioning everything, then the time that she's given them in order to escape would be all for naught. And we see Lilith charge after Nusjuro and ends up, you know, tackling him, trying to push him away. She loses an arm, but she ends up pushing them away, and the Straws successfully get off a coup de burst. Circling back to Luffy's group, this might be my favorite part of the chapter, specifically because of Emet and Luffy's interaction. Emet, he is talking to Luffy through the voice of all things, saying, Joyboy, I'm happy we got to meet again. And Luffy's looking at him like, you talking to me? Like, who the hell are you talking to? And Emmett's like, hey, I'm over here. Obviously, Luffy has no clue that he's Joyboy or who the heck Emmett is trying to talk to. But he talks about how they have the same enemy once again, and he is happy that he can fight for Joyboy again, which this kind of goes into the theory that a lot of people have had about not only Emmett, but Zanisha and other individuals being a part of Joyboy's crew. Now, as Luffy gets to the giant ship, Emmett is charging at Jupiter, ready to attack and intercept him so that he doesn't attack Luffy, where Emet is about to use some form of attack, maybe a beam, maybe rockets from his arm. We don't know because it didn't end up coming out. But I also want to mention, we do see Sanji have the little light in his eyes and being excited. A lot of things that Oda likes to do, especially when it comes to like robots or things typically boys would like over girls, is that he makes them have some form of a light in their eyes or excitement, and the girls are like, well, why are y'all excited? I think this is the first time that Sanji has reacted to something like this, at least that I can remember, so I think that's pretty cool that we got to see. But something else, and this may be just an error on the scan side, but he talks about the reason why he's unable to fire his weapons is because he says it seems like the last 900 years have rendered those weapons inoperable. And I don't really get this because 200 years ago, Emmett, he wreaked havoc on the Grand Line before he ran out of power. So like I said, this could have been an error on the scans part, but from what I'm reading, I don't really understand, like, unless it just had to be an error, unless I'm mistaken something and I read it wrong, but the timelines wouldn't add up. Saturn, he ends up jumping on top of Jupiter in order to launch himself towards the giant ship in order not to let Kuma, Bonnie, and Luffy escape. However, we see up in the sky the Straw Hat ship. It is going to make it because Atlas ended up sacrificing herself, blowing herself up in order to give the rest of the distance that the Straw Hats needed, that they weren't really going to get because of the wind. Noble sacrifice. Atlas will be missed. Really cool. She wasn't necessarily my favorite of the Stellas, but I know a lot of people had love for her, so she's probably going to be a very missed character. York is laughing, talking about all the Stellas being gone, which technically is not true. It's just that Lilith is unconscious. But Nusjuro and Saturn talk about not yet. There's still one, talking about Vegapunk and the broadcast. Walker and Jupiter are going to try to take out Emmett. Well, Emmett talks about, oh man, I really rested away. Is this the time you spoke of Joyboy? Can I use it? No clue what he's going to use. No clue what he's talking about. Really looking forward to it in the next chapter. And also the different individuals around the world. We see one panel of prisoners talking about, did Vegapunk talk about Gold D Roger? Because a lot of people had the misunderstanding that Gold Roger, that was his name, and that it wasn't Gold D Roger. So with Vegapunk talking about the individuals with D in their name, and all this other stuff that has happened so far. A lot of people are now going to talk about, oh shoot, why was Roger so important? Is it just more than him being the Pirate King? Really good chapter. Also seeing Lilith get knocked out, I really wonder if she's going to join the Straw Hat crew. We've seen so many times, so many clickbaits of different individuals that were going to be on the crew that actually aren't. We saw it with Yamato, Momo, Carrot, like a lot of individuals. So I wonder if Liz is going to join the crew. Let me know if you guys want her to join or not in the comment section below. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this chapter. I thought this is a really detailed one, a really good one. Not saying that we haven't gotten good Egghead chapters recently, but I definitely feel like this was a step above the ones that we gotten recently. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you guys never miss out on a new video from me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok is on the screen and in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to unleash your potential.